Johna? Udało mi się. Jestem w podziemnej świątyni.
Dobra.
O, rany. Nie jest dobrze.
Nara, trójca przebija się ładunkami do środka.
Czuję. To wywołuje wstrząsy. Mamy tu piramidę. Zamierzam wejść na jej szczyt.
Nara, jak leci?
Dobrze. Mam tu kilka platform, dzięki którym mogłabym dotrzeć na górę. Szukam czegoś, żeby je dociążyć.
Coś przerywa. Widzę jakiś ruch. Podejdę bliżej.
Muszę znaleźć sposób, żeby dostać się na drugą stronę. Muszę jakoś podnieść ten dzwon. Nie mam na to miejsca.
Te zarodniki są zbyt śmiercionośne, żebym mogła tędy przejść, ale nie przebiję się sama przez te bariery. Muszę zrobić to szybko. Boże, tyle trupów. Muszę unikać tych zarodników.
Head to the engine room for further instructions. Head to the engine room for further instructions.
In this video, you'll see what happened,
Do something pointing downwards.
whether this would work, and how dramatic this pitch down might be if it didn't work. I'd only find out through my next test flight. Now on the home stretch, I just needed to finish up the wiring and installing the ignition system in place, and then fine-tune the centre of gravity range on the aircraft to make sure that this plane would still fly when the fuel had run out, which would shift the centre of gravity further towards the nose. Right, time for some rocket-powered test flights, but before driving up to the flying field, it's time for a very quick ad from PayPal Honey.
Honey automatically searches thousands of websites online for promo codes.
This little button at the top
Today, but it's the best day that we had this over the next couple of weeks, really. The first test flight is just with the EDF alone, not with any of the rocket engines, because I want to test the aerodynamics. I've changed the tail. I've also removed the canopy, so yes, we want to see if anything goes awry with the aeroplane just as is. Okay, so we're up in the air, and yes, we'll just do a couple of high-speed runs just to see what top speed is. Okay, coming in for a landing. Whoa, okay, I had to abort there. The wind direction seemed to change at the last minute, so I'm just going to come round again. Did you see that? I had to run out of the way of it. Right, let's see what the speed was. So it didn't feel very fast, but I was going into the wind. So 106, so that's, yeah, it's hardly anything. Only 106 kilometers an hour there, so that's about 60 something miles an hour. So yeah, it's not very good. But I couldn't really get it lined up into the wind.
Next, it was time to install the smaller of the two rocket engines, the D-size engine, and then try my best to install the igniters with practically frozen fingers.
It's very cold. Obviously, we've got the engine up high here. As we've discussed previously, not really sure how much the aircraft is going to pitch down when I kick in the rocket engine. So that's one thing that could go wrong. Another thing that could go wrong is the structural integrity of the aeroplane. This plane is obviously made of foam, and if it starts twisting, will it disintegrate? Not sure, but that's what this test is all about. What we learn from this will go into the next aeroplane. So I'm not going to hang around, I'm going to get it up to altitude, turn the nose around, and then I'm going to engage the rocket engine. So let's see if I can pull that nose round. Three, two, one, fire! Oh, I think we lost the engine just there. The rocket engine seemed to eject itself. That definitely seemed to give us a bit of a boost. Let's bring it in for a landing and we'll see how fast it went. It feels very nose heavy now because it's lost the engine. Okay, bring it in. I'm gonna have to keep the airspeed up. Oh dear. Let's see what the speed was. 142, what's that then? About 90 miles an hour, something like that. Not quite 100 yet though. So that worked very well. I think we got it on camera, which is the main thing. The engine ejected from the back of the aircraft. The plane became very, very heavy all of a sudden. I don't know why it ejected, because it doesn't have an ejection charge on this particular D-size rocket engine that we were using. Apart from landing in a load of poo over there, from the manure on the field, that was a completely successful mission. When the plane did engage that engine, it did nose down a bit, but I think I didn't really do anything. The plane corrected itself. Yeah, that gives me hope that the bigger engine is also going to be fine. So yeah, let's crack on with it.
Next up was the largest rocket engine, the F-size, which was about 4 times as powerful as the previous D-size engine.
Tally ho! I think because the plane's so heavy now, it is having a hard time actually staying airborne and getting enough airspeed.
I didn't want to use up too much of my battery, having to use full throttle to simply keep the plane in the air. So immediately I lined up for a high-speed run.
Getting up the ground speed, coming across, and then 3, 2, 1, fire! 3, 2, 1, fire! Reset gyro. Bringing those round again. Oh, I think the engine just fell out again. So I'm going to try and bring it home. It's going to be extremely nose heavy now, so I'm going to have to bring it in for a very high speed landing to avoid stalling. Coming in. Oh! Oh! Yay! Yes! We did it! Oh, we've landed in some more poo. Engine has completely disappeared. 211 kilometers an hour! 211 kilometers an hour.
Right, a few more modifications. I think that this plane has more than enough capability to go through that speed barrier and go a bit faster than that even. Interestingly, this gyro wobbling problem was very similar to the problem that we saw with my Mark 1 jet car from last year, where the car got into a bit of an oscillation at about 70 miles an hour through trying to overcorrect itself from one way to another. So this was very similar, although with the aeroplane it was on the roll axis. So next is to tune the gyro and sort that out. Also, a few things that held me back on that flight were, easy.
If your Tesla's battery is at 0%, you won't even be able to unlock the door. You are completely stuck and out of luck. Your Tesla's battery is so depleted, it won't even be able to tell itself it needs to charge. Your Tesla will be bricked. But this is what you do to fix it. So all we have to do is attach the negative and positive terminals from this battery jumper. When they are connected, the frunk will pop open. All that did was pop open the frunk. Now we can get into the guts of the Tesla. So we're gonna jump the Tesla. We're gonna attach red to red, and you attach the ground to this little bolt right here and turn it on. Congratulations, your Tesla should start charging, and you should be able to get access to it, and the screen should work, and everything should be good to go. If your Tesla's battery is at 0%, you won't even be able to unlock the door. You are completely stuck and out of luck. Your Tesla's battery is so depleted, it won't even be able to tell itself it needs to charge. Your Tesla will be bricked. But this is what you do to fix it. So all we have to do is attach the negative and positive terminals from this battery jumper. When they are connected, the frunk will pop open. All that did was pop open the frunk. Now we can get into the guts of the Tesla. So we're gonna jump the Tesla. We're gonna attach red to red, and you attach the ground to this little bolt right here and turn it on. Congratulations, your Tesla should start charging, and you should be able to get access to it, and the screen should work, and everything should be good to go. If your Tesla's battery is at 0%, you won't even be able to unlock the door. You are completely stuck and out of luck. Your Tesla's battery is so depleted, it won't even be able to tell itself it needs to charge. Your Tesla will be bricked. But this is what you do to fix it. So all we have to...
Why do some airplanes yell retard to the pilots while landing? Let me explain. If you've ever seen a cockpit landing video of an Airbus, you've probably noticed how the word retard is announced just before landing.
Going to be retard. retard.
While some people might think it's the airplane trying to insult the pilots, it's actually got nothing to do with that. The word retard is simply telling the pilots to pull the throttle back to idle so the airplane can slow down and land. Why do some airplanes yell retard to the pilots while landing? Let me explain. If you've ever seen a cockpit landing video of an Airbus, you've probably noticed how the word retard is announced just before landing.
20, retard, retard.
While some people might think it's the airplane trying to insult the pilots, it's actually got nothing to do with that. The word retard is simply telling the pilots to pull the throttle back to idle so the airplane can slow down and land. Why do some airplanes yell retard to the pilots while landing? Let me explain. If you've ever seen a cockpit landing video of an Airbus, you've probably noticed how the word retard is announced just before landing.
20, retard, retard.
While some people might think it's the airplane trying to insult the pilots, it's actually got nothing to do with that. The word retard is simply telling the pilots to pull the throttle back to idle so the airplane can slow down and land. Why do some airplanes yell retard to the pilots while landing? Let me explain. If you've ever seen a cockpit landing video of an Airbus, you've probably noticed how the word retard is announced just before landing.
20, retard, retard.
While some people might think it's the airplane trying to insult the pilots, it's actually got nothing to do with that. The word retard is simply telling the pilots to pull the throttle back to idle so the airplane can slow down and land. Why do some airplanes yell retard to the pilots while landing? Let me explain. If you've ever seen a cockpit landing video of an Airbus, you've probably noticed how the word retard is announced just before landing.
20, retard, retard.
While some people might think it's the airplane trying to insult the pilots, it's actually got nothing to do with that. The word retard is
In this video, you'll see what happened when I took an RC plane and upgraded it to see how fast I could get it to fly through adding bigger batteries, changing its aerodynamics, and adding a powerful rocket boost that could be activated at the flick of a switch. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know I've built a couple of rocket-powered planes before, but this time I wanted to try something a bit different. Thanks to my Patreon supporters, I got myself an off-the-shelf model jet powered by a small internal electric ducted fan. Although only designed for speeds around 50 miles an hour, I believe that this aeroplane with some extreme modifications could actually beat some of the fastest foam RC jets out there, and maybe even beat the very fastest, which claim to fly at an eye-watering 140 miles an hour. So why did I think that this plane had that potential? Well, first of all, it's very small and lightweight, and also very aerodynamic, so through making it much more powerful, it should be able to reach some higher speeds. I've never successfully flown a plane faster than 114 miles an hour, so my goals for this project would be twofold. One, I wanted to set a new personal airspeed record of over 114 miles an hour, and two, I wanted to make this plane the fastest foam jet in the world. Yeah, this is quite an ambitious project. So how would
In this video, we're going to look at the scale of black holes in the universe, but we're going to do it in a way that's a little unusual. To do these things justice. First, we need something big to compare them with. So let's use our solar system. We're going to make a scale model of our solar system somewhere where we can get a good sense of that scale, like here in Manhattan, New York. The first thing we need for our scale model is Earth. And we're going to make it the size of a grape here. If the Earth is a grape, the Sun is the size of a large elephant. It's pretty huge, but this is a little too close. We need to put it 400 meters or 4 football pitches away. Let's add in the other planets of our solar system here in New York. There's giant Jupiter there. It's about the size of a beach ball. The last major planet is Neptune. It's out beyond the Statue of Liberty, 11 kilometers away from the Sun. It's about the size of a melon. You can see why it's difficult to see Neptune. We're on a grape trying to look at a melon in the dark, almost 11 kilometers away. But now that we've got our scale sorted out, how big is the smallest naturally occurring black hole compared with the solar system? Well, it would be... Actually, it would be just this big. Smaller than a fine grain of sand. Black holes are tiny. It's obviously much smaller than the Earth. It's about the same size as the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, which is also surprisingly small. Black holes can be smaller than asteroids. Isn't that crazy? Now you might think, well, that's a special tiny black hole that doesn't have much in it, but it's not. That grain of sand started out as this, an O-type star, 10 times wider than the Sun and 35 times the mass, the size of a large hot air balloon on our Earth grape scale. When a huge star like this reaches the end of its life, it explodes as a supernova. I've sped it up here a lot. Most of the star bursts outwards, forming a huge cloud of gas and dust, thousands of times bigger than our solar system. But it leaves behind a core of iron and nickel, a little smaller than our Sun, but with more than 2 times the mass. And the iron and nickel atoms just aren't strong enough to resist the crush of their own gravity. It collapses, and atoms are so empty they almost seem to disappear when they're crushed. They are crunched down to a clump of neutrons called a neutron star. It's so dense you can see it bend light around it. If it's as heavy as 2.2 suns or more, as it is in this case, even the neutrons aren't strong enough to fight their own gravity. So it collapses one more time to form a black hole. The mass of more than 2 suns is now inside a black sphere just 13 kilometers across, smaller than a fine grain of sand on this Earth grape scale. But black holes aren't quite what they seem. Now, just to get close up with a black hole for a second, a black hole is 2 things. There is something in the middle called a singularity, and a black sphere around it called the event horizon. Let's chop it in half for a moment. Basically, inside the black hole, the singularity is the crushed core of the star. The exact size of the singularity is still a bit of a mystery, because it breaks our current theories of the universe. It may have no dimensions, just a dot. Or it may just be incredibly small. We can describe the world outside the event horizon very precisely, but for now at least, the singularity requires improvements to our understanding of physics to fully define. It doesn't help that we will never see it. This is because this crushed star has so much mass that it reaches out with its gravity and pulls everything nearby in, including light, creating this black sphere around it, the event horizon. It's a cloak of blackness that we think is probably just empty. It just marks the point of absolutely no return for anything. But you're not simply safe outside it. Small black holes in particular have something called a gravitational gradient. All that means is when you get close, you will inevitably be turned into spaghetti. Seriously, you are pulled much harder at the front of your body than at the back, and it will just stretch you out more and more the closer you get to it. It's called spaghettification. With really big black holes, that doesn't happen until you're inside the event horizon. But whether it's inside or outside, you can't avoid gravity when you get close to the singularity. You will inevitably be ripped to shreds very quickly. I often hear people say they'd like to fall into a black hole just to see what's inside, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you're lucky and it's a huge black hole and you can avoid all the other matter falling in with you at incredible speeds, you'd pass the event horizon and you'd likely momentarily see only darkness in the direction of the singularity, not be able to tell anyone about it, and a fraction of a second later, you'd be instantly turned into spaghetti. So this is the theoretically smallest black hole we can have, but the smallest we found is a little bigger and likely around 6.3 solar masses in weight. It's the size of a fine grain of sand. If you thought it was hard to find a melon-sized Neptune, imagine trying to see an absolutely black grain of sand in the blackness of space, way outside the solar system. We have to look for either its immense gravitational effect on things, its ability to bend light around it, or the incredibly intense light given off when things fall inside them. So why have I made this huge scale model of the solar system if black holes are the size of grains of sand? Well, it's because black holes don't just like eating spaghetti, they like eating stars too. So to understand the next bit, we need to talk about galaxies briefly. We live in a galaxy, the Milky Way, about here. We're still learning a lot about how galaxies form, but in the early stages, there's a lot of matter and young stars in the center of this mass. And that means big stars absorbing each other and becoming black holes. In fact, there's likely to be black holes absorbing other black holes, making these huge black holes growing bigger and bigger, eating more stars and matter and black holes. Eventually, only one wins. And that winner is a supermassive black hole. They're naturally right in the middle of the galaxy. We now believe there's one at the center of almost every galaxy. We have one at the center of ours. We've even taken an image of it. It's called Sagittarius A star, and it is huge. Our smallest black hole has a mass of a little over 2 suns, while Sagittarius A star has a mass of 4.3 million suns, which is ridiculous. Now, the reason it has this bright ring around it is because it's currently eating a star. This is the gas of that star being ripped away and accelerated to incredible speeds and temperature before being pulled into the event horizon. It's a flat ring of material, but it looks like it's above and below it too, because the black hole bends the light around it. It's an optical illusion. So how big is this thing on my solar system scale if it's got 4.3 million suns in it? Well, black holes are a bit underwhelming in terms of scale, because they crush big things into tiny things. What's impressive really is their crushing ability and how much they can fit inside them. So if I just showed you its size, I don't think I'd be doing it justice. So I thought the most interesting way to visualize a 4.3 million solar mass black hole would be to watch one grow by feeding it 4.3 million suns. So here they are. This ridiculous amphitheater of light is what 4.3 million suns look like on this scale. I've had to make this cap of stars 50 kilometers in diameter just so we can see the individual stars. I've put that grain of sand size in suns look like is what 4.3 million suns look like on this scale. I've had to make this cap of stars 50 kilometers in diameter just so we can see the individual stars. I've put that grain of sand-sized black hole where my hand is here, close to our own sun. So that will be the first one to be eaten. This is normally how stars are absorbed. They're stripped of their matter, forming this accretion disk. We're going to have to speed this up in this crude simulation. In reality, the process to gain so much mass probably takes hundreds of millions of years. But by actually seeing the equivalent mass that this black hole has eaten, it should hopefully give us a better sense of scale of just how massive Sagittarius A star really is. When I first started this video, I knew the numbers, but I couldn't wait to see this, to actually see what 4.3 million really means. You can fit more than 1 million Earths in the sun, and each one of these dots is a sun in this almost endless sea of light. It should also be noted that the sun is actually an unusually heavy star. It's heavier than 95% of the stars in the universe. So 4.3 million suns of mass is even more incredible. As Sagittarius A star keeps absorbing stars, it will eventually reach 70 meters in diameter on this scale, about 20 times wider than one sun, but containing the mass of all of these. That's actually not very big at all. It's just the size of a big star. It wouldn't reach the planet Mercury, and for instance, it's a lot smaller than the star Betelgeuse in the constellation of Orion. So if you already knew there was a supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy, you might have envisaged this terrifying, huge object slowly sucking up the galaxy. But it's not. It's this magnificent black star-size object of incredible power. Just don't get too close to it and you'll be fine. There are even bigger supermassive black holes too. The largest we've found so far is inside a quasar called TON 618. A quasar is an incredibly bright center of a galaxy. It's like a lighthouse, and quasars are the brightest thing in the entire universe. They're powered by an ultra-massive black hole, accelerating matter to incredible speeds and temperature, blasting out energy from the black hole's accretion disk, forming 2 jets of plasma bursting out of the poles of the black hole. The The TON 618 black hole is even bigger than 70 meters because it has more solar masses in. So let's feed it those extra suns and let's have it grow from the Sagittarius A-star sized black hole to the size of TON 618. So on a scale where the Earth is the size of a grape, the Sun is the size of an elephant, and the smallest black hole is the size of a fine grain of sand, the black hole in TON 618 is about 650 kilometers or 400 miles in diameter. That's 27 times the diameter of the solar system out to Neptune. It has the mass of 41 billion suns. This single black hole has more mass than our entire galaxy, the Milky Way. We think of black holes as star eaters, but really, they're galaxy eaters. Thank you for watching my video on the scale of black holes. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a little about these crazy little star crashers. I'll be doing more on them in another video as there's a few things I didn't touch on. If you haven't seen my other videos, there's a short playlist here. If you are enjoying them, do please feel free to like and subscribe, ring the bell, etc. It's just me making these videos and I hope to make them full time at some point, so any support is greatly appreciated. And on that point, if you'd like to really support me further, I've got a Patreon, link in the description, where you can join my little crew of astronauts here. They are awesome. T-shirts also available now too, shameless self-promotion time. Otherwise, thanks again everyone for all the incredibly kind comments on my videos. I love making them and I love to hear your comments and suggestions. If you've got any questions on space and science and the universe, do please feel free to ask me in the comments too. I always love to chat about that stuff whenever I have the time. Cheers. In this video, we're going to look at the scale of black holes in the universe, but we're going to do it in a way that's a...
In this video, you'll see what happened.
Hello, so I'm the guy who makes the videos for this channel. I'm still working on a video about black holes right now, but I'm often asked how I make these videos. So I wanted to do a quick behind the scenes to answer some questions. So it's just me making these videos. I make them in my spare time, which is tricky because I have a day job and a young family. But I'm going to do a little less of the day job soon so I can focus on these videos. So I've been a photographer for 15 years, but moved more into video about 10 years ago. I've always worked as a one-man band and I've done lots of different things, but nowadays I mostly film and edit small videos for brands and companies, occasionally events, and I still sometimes photograph too. When COVID hit, I realized how fragile my freelance job was because I didn't have any work for over a year, with a family and a mortgage that was really difficult. So that experience over COVID galvanized me to change the way I work. Life is short. I've always photographed and videoed things for other people, so maybe it was time to make my own videos about something I'm passionate about. Something I'll be proud to show my kids when they're older. The thing was, I knew what I wanted to make. I wanted to make epic educational videos about science and the universe. Something I'm really passionate about. But I'd never even tried before because I use a camera to film things and I can't just go into space with this. If I want to make something amazing about space and science, I'd need VFX. And I love VFX, but in 2020 I had no VFX skills at all. I knew how hard it was to learn them. So it was just a crazy pipe dream. But in 2021, I gave that crazy idea a shot. I downloaded a free program, Blender, and when I wasn't looking after my kids in the day because the schools were closed because of COVID, I spent almost every night for a year teaching myself how to use Blender while starting to make a video about what the universe looks like. I have a degree in engineering, not astrophysics, so accuracy in research is really important to me. So I have to spend a long time making sure I know exactly what I'm talking about. This spreadsheet here was for my first video about the universe, trying to plot all the galaxies near us so I could put them in the software. I spent so many hours putting this together and I had 0 subscribers at the time. I had no idea whether anyone would even watch that first video, let alone care about whether each piece of cereal was in the right place. But I make these videos for myself too. I want to understand these topics better, so I'd only be cheating myself if I didn't get the maths or scale right. So that's how I'm going to continue, making things as accurate as possible and try and do it in a way that you can remember it years later and wait for this plane to go over. Yes, learning VFX is hard, but as soon as I started using Blender, it just felt like magic. I love using a camera and adjusting lighting and real life, but there are always limits. This program meant I could do anything I could imagine as long as I worked hard enough on it. That was such a liberating feeling, and it still is. It might mean I could make this crazy, epic astronaut space idea after all. I got halfway through my first tutorial about making a donut and stopped and just started trying to make my first universe video and just try to fix every problem I faced along the way. Trying to run before I could walk really worked for me, so that's probably my best advice for someone trying to learn VFX. Learn enough to not feel overwhelmed, and then just try and do that one project you've always wished you could make. Since that first video, I've upgraded my computer, tried new ways to animate my face in the suit, and gotten a mid-level motion capture suit from Rococo. I actually won the gloves in one of their competitions with one of my videos. I've been trying to get a fast workflow worked out, but I'm always trying new ideas too to up the production value more and more. I don't think anyone will be surprised to hear that Carl Sagan inspires me, but also books by Stephen Hawking and Bill Bryson, and more recently YouTube channels that prioritize quality over quantity, like Kurzgesagt. I think they in particular showed me that a lot of people do actually want good science communication on YouTube. I also really like shows like The Magic School Bus and Storybots that are aimed at kids, but they're just such wholesome and imaginative ways to teach science. Lots of science in the universe seems overwhelming and unreachable when it doesn't need to be. These huge numbers, crazy distances in the blackness of space, or down amongst the atoms with no frame of reference. It's just so hard to take in. So in my videos, I want to take people on little journeys to show them how much wonder there is out there in a way that makes sense and seems simple. So much so that it's hard to forget. That's why I put so much time into metaphors about cereal, pens on mountains, and fingertip swells in countries. Remembering huge numbers is hard, but remembering that the planets are the swells on the tip of your fingertip when the galaxy is the size of the US is easy. I want those images to last and continue to be helpful and interesting to people in years to come. That's really clear to me. I want to keep making these videos and just keep trying to make them better than the last and get them out more regularly. Spend much less time on the day job and eventually do these videos full time. I do genuinely love the whole process of making these. And there's so much science, so many worlds, so many subjects and wonders to visit and talk about that the list of things I want to do just keeps getting longer. I do have some other ideas on educational games and VR and other productions for streaming too, but those would be on top of this channel. Yes, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched, shared, liked, subscribed, anyone who's come over from Reddit when they went viral there, all of the incredible and heartwarming comments, they mean the world to me. Unlike this plane, who I hate. And they're a big reason why I'm doing this. So many of the stories you've shared about how the videos have affected you and just the overwhelming belief in what I'm doing and the future of the channel has been over and beyond what I could have hoped for. So thank you. And of course, my growing Patreon crew here, they are amazing and a big part of my journey to make these videos full-time in the future. Do please feel free to join them and become an astronaut yourself in future videos if you'd like. Do please let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas for future videos or questions you'd like me to answer. Thanks again for being on this journey with me as I make these videos. I can only assure you it's just beginning. I live in a city, and that means the stars are hard to see, and the universe is easy to forget about. Our busy lives and streetlights hide away so much wonder. Wouldn't it be amazing to just switch off the lights and connect with the world beyond our own? That's what I want these videos to be, little escapes into the universe that we can all go on, regardless of whether we have clear skies, telescopes, or lots of free time. We're going to go on a journey into the starry sky above me, a world we can all connect with. But this is not a video about the universe, because this isn't the universe. Not really. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to leave the universe alone, but I'm going to switch one thing off. So that's it, the stars have all gone. I can only see one star in the night sky now. And really, it just looks like a big faint smudge. It's actually the Andromeda Galaxy, but otherwise it's just blackness. All of the magic of the night has gone. Imagine a world without stars. The thing I switched off wasn't the universe, it was the Milky Way, the galaxy we live in. Okay, phew, it's always good when they come back. So our night sky is actually our galaxy, the Milky Way. Our galaxy is our home, a huge swirling oasis of stars. It's so big and full of everything, it's like a mini universe all on its own. Our sun and solar system is about here, a third to a halfway out from the center, depending on how you measure where the edge is. Some people point to the cloudy line across the night sky on a really clear night and call that the Milky Way. And technically it is, but then so is everything else as well. So it's a little confusing. I think a better way to describe that is the disk of the Milky Way, and we're inside that disk. If I make the Milky Way 2 football pitches wide here and tilt it a little, then shuffle it back so it's where we are in the galaxy. If you take a look from my point of view, I'm going to walk to where the Earth is. When I look towards the center of the Milky Way, I can see this cloudy line that stretches across. When I look to the sides, I'm looking away from the galaxy, so there are fewer stars. So that's what that line is in the sky, the edge of the galaxy that we're inside. And that line is brightest looking towards the center of the galaxy. But look, there's no point in looking at a model of the Milky Way this big. It's not big enough to see the detail. I need to make it bigger. I'm going to need to make it the diameter of the United States of America. If the center of our galaxy were in Kansas, right in the middle, the solar system would be about here, in the city of Denver in Colorado. In fact, all of the stars that we can see in the night sky would only stretch as far as the city lights of Denver. So how big would we be? How big is the sun on this huge scale? Well, on a scale where the galaxy we live in is the diameter of America, the sun would be about this big. So that's already completely crazy, but it doesn't end there. Because I'm not standing on a hill here. On a scale where the Milky Way is the size of the United States, our giant sun would easily fit between the ridges of the fingerprint on the tips of our fingers. It would be half the size of a red blood cell. Our galaxy is astonishingly large. I've shrunk myself down 50,000 times to be this size. This is a single grain of sand in comparison. It's taken me 2 minutes to walk over to where Earth is, here, 1 fingerprint ridge away. Here's our little blue marble. On this scale, it's 3 times smaller than the coronavirus. Jupiter here was 4 more ridges away. Neptune, the last planet, has taken me an hour to walk to. It's just 1 centimeter away at the edge of my fingertip. Isn't it crazy, but wonderful, that if our galaxy were shrunk down to the size of a continent, the orbits of the planets of the solar system would be the swirls on the tip of our finger. We're always interested in how big the universe is, but the galaxy we live in, the Milky Way, is so wonderfully vast and impressive. Now I know the Milky Way alone is so much to take in. It's natural that it can all seem overwhelming. It can also make us feel a little small and insignificant. And we are a little small, but we are also special. Humans are incredibly complex life. We are the first beings we know of, with a curiosity and ability to find truth and wonder. That makes you just as important as a galaxy. In the words of one of my favourite wonders of the universe, Carl Sagan, we are a way for the universe to know itself. And if the galaxy still feels overwhelming, this might help. We are small, but we're probably a lot bigger than you think. We tend to put ourselves at the bottom of the scale, but that ignores the universe under our noses. The world of the small is as vast as the stars, and that is an accurate statement. This is an electron. It is very small. I've made it bigger here, obviously. It's part of an atom. It's so small it's considered a point, not a sphere. So this is just a crude model of a kind of maximum size of an electron. With that in mind, in terms of scale, an electron is to a human what a human is to the Milky Way. So if you ever feel lost or small when you contemplate the cosmos, just remember that to an electron, you are a galaxy. If you enjoyed the videos on my Epic Spaceman channel, hitting the subscribe button would be awesome. I've started a Patreon too under the same name. So thank you to this little space crew for already helping me make these videos. I also wanted to say a big thank you to Reddit and rspace in particular. I just wouldn't have made this video if it wasn't for the amazing comments and support on my last video. Thank you. I just wouldn't have made this video. And rspace in particular. I just wouldn't have made this video if it wouldn't make these videos. I also wanted to say a big thank you to Reddit and rspace in particular. I just wouldn't have made this video if it wasn't for the amazing comments and support on my last video. Thank you. So, I hope to see you again for another Epic Spaceman video.